Hello, this is Vincent Phipps, Certified Speaker Professional. Here are 3 tips I want you to incorporate for all of my prolific professional speakers that wanted to give more kick-butt keynote presentations. Rule number 1, you need to give your keynote speech a title. You want your title to have some type of assimilation or a poetic balance based on who your audience is and your purpose. For example, I was once asked to be the keynote speaker for a realty association, and they asked me to help them improve how they give their speeches and presentations for prospective home buyers. So I wanted to play off the word real, and I called my presentation Real Presentation Tips for Real Estate Investors. Notice I played up the word real, so when they promoted the keynote, they always used the term of the exact keynote presentations, Real Presentation Tips for Real Estate Investors. So remember, always give your keynotes a title. That's rule 1. Rule 2 of your keynotes, you want to include a subtopic. A subtopic or subtitle is more of a descriptive way of saying what your keynote is going to be about. It's a short sentence about what attendees can anticipate if they come to your keynote. For example, the keynote topic that was used was Real Tips for Real Estate Investors. The subtopic is Learn the 7 dynamics of how to boost your sales as a real estate professional. Now notice the subtitle is a little more descriptive, but it gives a person more insight about what they're going to receive. So when I said, learn the 7 tips of how to improve your presentations for real estate investors, the subtitle gives a little little paprika, little oregano, little basil, little cayenne pepper, adds a little flavor to your presentations. So rule 2, give a subtitle to your presentational keynote. And rule 3 of having kick-butt keynotes, you got to incorporate learning objectives. The learning objectives are the key learning points about what attendees are going to receive in more detail about coming to your keynotes. I recommend 3 or 4 key learning points. For those who are booking you as their keynote speaker, they're going to use these key learning points to put on the social media, in the brochure, on their intranet. So you want to make sure you give them enough information so they know what value you're going to provide to them as their keynote speaker. For example, here are a couple of the keynote topics that I incorporated that were learning objectives. I said, number 1, boost your confidence if you are an introverted presenter. Number 2, how to negotiate when someone dislikes the initial rate. Number 3, how to use your voice and body language to make sure you always convey confidence. Number 4, how to close a real estate sale when you're on the precipice of getting an agreement. Now notice I gave 3 or 4 key learning objectives. You would mention these in the initial title, but it's just enough when you give the key learning objectives, you're giving the main points. KLO. Key learning objectives. It's more like KLD. But you want to make sure that you let people know what your keynote is going to be about. So to recapitulate, 3 things you want to have for kick-butt keynotes. Number 1, always give your keynotes a title. Number 2, give your keynotes a subtopic. And number 3, state the key learning objectives to make sure that attendees know what you're going to share. Follow these 3 tips for all of your keynotes, and you will make your keynote presentations easier to sell and more enjoyable to present. Hope you found this interesting, and go out there and give your next kick-butt keynote.